Right, so, well, Jeff, we've been looking at milk this week. It's sort of spiraled out of Ramsey Bakery slightly, where we've gone down the thing of looking at supporting local. And just sort of in terms of, milk prices have gone up on the island, which has sort of happened around about the same time. It's different sort of reasons for this. But why has the price of milk gone up? We'll start with that.
Well, I think everyone's sick of hearing it now, really. But the on-farm costs have just gone through the roof this last 6 months. Say fertilizer is now tripled in price. Diesel, what we were paying, what was it, 45p last year, it's 85p now. Let alone the feed costs that we're on, protein we're bringing in. So yeah, it's just spiraling costs everywhere. And although the cost of milk has gone up, we're still taking a reduction at the minute because it's costing 9p a litre more than it was, and we've had a bit of an increase, but it's not close to that.
So in terms of where the businesses are, farming as a whole, the dairy farm, it's still behind where you were, say, a year ago.
Oh yeah, a long way back. Yeah.
And just sort of, it is a criticism which has been labelled a bit recently with the debate going on around the bakery. This has sort of gone on with the flour mill as well. Should the government be in the business of setting milk prices, or should the market be deciding this?
It's a tough one, because I think if you didn't have the government involved with setting the price, you're going to allow cheap imports to come in and flood us out of the market, and then once we're gone, that's it. The prices will go through the roof. That's just the way island living is, and the more self-sufficient we can be is the better for us long term.
But you have, you can see the argument, I suppose, you have to say is that there is a cost of living price going on, people are being squeezed further and further, and obviously, imports of different companies, which we're not going to name, are cheaper. Oh,
they are. There's no getting around it. But how long would they stay cheaper for if there wasn't a Manx option? If it's the same as anything. What if they know there's no other option, there's no other pint of milk over here? Yeah, you could be paying $1.70. It's just where does it end, sort of thing.
And just in terms of looking at from your side of it, do you think there's more scope for the sort of dairy industry now to diversify itself further?
Yeah, fingers crossed. I mean, the creamery have done a fantastic job in the past, but pre-pandemic, they were really flying with a lot of these things. So, just fingers crossed we can get back to that again, and hopefully that can, see a future for everyone.
And obviously, what's going on with Ukraine is affecting grain and everything else going forward. Do you think things are realistically going to get a lot worse, but they get better in that sense?
It's a tough one to say. I think if things don't sort themselves out in a hurry, then talking about bread, the loaf of bread away is going to be shocking. The pound of loaf days will be gone. And as far as on-farm costs, because of the way that the UK have gone, where they've sort of shipped off all their manufacturing of anything, be it fertilizer, be it steel, anything, these costs are just going to go through the roof and be driven by other countries making profits, whereas we're a consumer country now, and unfortunately it's going to take a bit of getting back from that.
While that there are things that are unavoidable with that then, in terms of how important is, not just for dairy farms, but for all sort of farm and for all food producers across the island, whether it's the big ones or the small ones, just how important is the basic thing of buying things that come from the island?
Well, it's just so important, because just from an economic point of view, every pound that gets spent through Manx companies creates more and more wealth. That's what it does. We get taxed, the suppliers get taxed, and it goes on and on. But if you spend £1 away, that's it. It's gone off island, and you're never seeing it back. For the government to be prosperous, it needs to start at the bottom and work up. Really, I would say.
Just sort of finally, because the cows are looking at me and they want their breakfast. How many have you carved this year?
What have we done? There's about eight left, so yeah, about just over 80 at the minute.
Yeah, it's a good year.
Yeah, fingers crossed.